family. Today I'm going to talk to you about my journey from going to a corporate engineering job to becoming a full-time freelancer and making six figures. I'm also going to help you determine when to take that leap, the keys to success as a six-figure freelancer, and tips for aspiring freelancers. Alright, so I'm a full-time freelancer now, but that's not where I started. So actually my background's in engineering, chemical engineering to be exact, but don't ask me anything about physics or distillation columns or pretty much anything because I don't remember it. I just went to school for it. Right out of college, I got a really good job at a very big international corporate company. The background was in manufacturing, so a very fast-paced environment. I actually had a lot of fun at my job and I made a lot of friends, but at some point, I was just so tired of the monotony and the day-to-day and the rushing to get to work and the packing my lunches and all that came with it. And I really craved a work-from-home job because I really wanted that flexibility and that freedom. And at the end of the day, I also wanted to make my own schedule and work on my own time. I followed other freelancers online, but I had no idea what the heck they were doing to make money. They weren't very transparent about it, and they were just showing me the highlight reel of their travels, but not actually their life day in and day out. So I followed all these digital nomads on Instagram, and that seed of freelancing was kind of planted in my brain. Like I wanted to do it, but I had no idea how to do it or what skills could actually make me money. So let's fast forward a little bit. I worked at that corporate job for many years, and during that time I was like, I have no monetizable skills until I learned about Smartsheet. Even then, I still didn't realize it was a monetizable skill. But I started learning this platform at work called Smartsheet. It's basically like a work management platform, which means nothing to nobody. But if I had to explain it in one sentence, it would be, it's basically Excel on steroids with dashboards. And I was just using it for my own job. I was making tools on this online platform for my job to honestly work less. I just wanted it to be more efficient because a lot of my job was in Excel spreadsheets, which are great, but hard to automate. So when I learned about Smartsheet, I was like, oh dang, I can like take something that's taking me 5 hours and turn it into a 1 hour task once a week, or I can set up notifications to remind myself of something. I really leaned into it just for my own benefit to make my job a lot easier at work and kind of became obsessed with it. Started doing it for like other people in other departments. Like, hey, you need anything made in Smartsheet? I can make it for you. Because at the end of the day, I just wanted a chill job where I was just at my desk, listening to music, cranking out things, making things better, and solving problems. And then at one point, I couldn't get enough of doing it at work and also wanted to make money for just investments and other things. So I was like, shoot, I'll just make an Upwork profile and see if I get any leads. And from day one, I put my title on Upwork as Smartsheet expert, which looking back, I have no regrets, but that was a little ballsy of me. I feel like a lot of people talk about how to just become a full-time freelancer, like one day you're gonna wake up and be a freelancer, but they don't talk about how to manage being a freelancer as a side hustle and all the things that come with that, because that is a crucial moment in your freelancing journey where maybe you haven't taken that leap yet, but you're interested in taking that leap. But one, how do you manage that? And then two, how do you determine when to take that leap? So for me, when I was freelancing part-time, I only had 1 to 2 clients. Like, let that sink in. Do not overexert yourself when you are doing this as a side hustle. You are going to burn out so quick. I had maybe 1 to 2 clients, and then I would take on very small, very easy projects that I knew I could like do in my sleep so I didn't get overwhelmed with everything. I was also very realistic with my time commitment and like when I could deliver things to my clients. So if I was on a discovery call with a client and they were like, I need this so quick, I need this like next week, and it's like a huge project, I'd be like, okay, I'm probably not the person for you. I am doing this on the side. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I would just be like, okay, I don't necessarily have the time to deliver you the results within the time that you want. Maybe we're not a good fit. And that is much better than taking on a project you are not prepared to take on. So definitely be realistic with your time commitment. How many hours can you actually commit? And then make sure that you are not overpromising to a client with what results you can give them and when you can get it to them. The last thing you want to do is be stressed. So I would definitely recommend writing out what is your perfect client look like. So if you want them to be chill, like low-key project, maybe there's a certain niche that you're comfortable with, or maybe there's a certain niche that you're not comfortable with. So when I first started, I wasn't necessarily the best at project management, and it took me several years to kind of develop that skill. So when I first started out, I was actually better at calculating metrics and like making dashboards, more of the mathematical side of Smartsheet. So when I was presented with clients who maybe were like very heavy into project management, I was like, okay, maybe this isn't a great fit for me right now. That isn't to say don't take on something that's going to be a challenge so you can learn, but you also have to understand like where your skill set is. I would also say make sure to understand the nature of that client's business. If it is fast paced and like high intensity, maybe that's not the best client to take on as a freelancer when you're doing it as a side hustle. I would go into freelancing as a side hustle with the mindset you are just here to build your portfolio and get reviews. I mean, money is great, but if you are interested in freelancing full time, right now when you're starting out, it's not necessarily about the money. It's about delivering really good results to your clients, getting good reviews, building up your portfolio. So if you need to take on smaller projects that you're just going to knock out of the park, get amazing reviews, get those, even if they're not paying as much as others, don't worry about that right now. Just focus on building your portfolio. And really at the end of the day, take this freelancing side hustle as a trial period to see if you actually like what you're doing, because in the long run, if you are not enjoying what you're doing as a freelancer, it's never going to last. So make sure that you're kind of taking this as a trial period to test things out. See what you like, see what you don't like. Maybe you need to niche down even further. I'm a Smartsheet freelancer and I work with a very wide range of industries. But looking back, maybe I should have pinpointed one specific industry that was using Smartsheet and niched down. Again, it's all good. This is all in like hindsight, obviously, but it's definitely something to think about as you're starting your freelance journey out. You are pointing the sails in the direction that you want to head. Next, we're going to talk through how I determined when it was time to take the leap from freelancing as a side hustle to becoming a full-time freelancer. So let's rewind the timeline a little bit. I worked for that big corporate company for 7 years. Then I decided, man, I am ready to work from home. I am tired. So I actually took a job. I took a $30,000 pay cut for a remote job which was great. It was like the best thing ever. It was for a tech company. Then in April of 2023, the Silicon Valley Bank collapsed and that tech company that I was working for laid off half of the company, including me because I was only working there 6 months. So I was like, shoot, that is a bummer, but also severance. Hey, that's great. So, and I get to keep the laptop? All right, cool. So actually, when I got laid off, got the severance package, I looked at my husband, I was like, should we just take a month-long trip to Italy? Because we'd actually never gone on our honeymoon because we were kind of like waiting for the right time when we could take an extended vacation. So it was actually perfect timing. So we went to Italy, and while I was there, I continued freelancing because I had been doing it all this time as a side hustle. And I just really leaned into that a little bit more. I was like, okay, now I told my clients, like, hey, I'm doing this full time now, I guess, because I got laid off. I took those 2 clients that I had been working with for years and was like, okay, I'm full time now, so give me more work. They did, which was lovely. And then I just picked up through Upwork a few more clients, really just 1 to 2 more clients. And I was like, oh, shoot, like I'm making $5,000 a month with 4 clients. This is amazing. I think it's important to call out how much money I was actually making during this time while I was freelancing as a side hustle. So I'm going to go through this with you. In August of 2021, I made $351. This was my very first month of freelancing. And guess what? I didn't quit. I kept going. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot, but I was pumped about that. I was like, what? $351, I'm going shopping. Down to October of 2021, I had been freelancing for 2 months. I made a total of $2,200, which honestly is very amazing. But again, these trends, it was kind of going up and down month over month. My total for the first 5 months of freelancing was about $8,000. In 2023, I got more realistic about my rates as a freelancer, so I increased my rates. When I first started out, my rates were about $50 to $55 an hour, and then I increased my rates then once I felt comfortable. In 2023, so this is when I got laid off and I started actually like leaning into this more full time. I made $42,000, average of $3,500 a month. I did have other income streams at this time, so I really wasn't worried about making a ton of money. I felt like this was really good because it's basically covering my cost of living, plus I had other income. Me just chilling with my clients, I was making $3,500 a month. And this was probably with 3 to 4 clients. I was making $3,500 a month. I will say overnight, you can find 1 or 2 clients that are really going to tip you over the edge and you'll find really good opportunities. So keep with it, keep going, and you will find those people. They will find you actually. So how would you determine when to take that leap? I'll walk you through it. So first, I would calculate your cost of living. This is a huge thing, and I have been doing this for years. So I track my monthly budget, and then at the end of every month, I'm like auditing my finances and whatnot. And so I knew that my cost of living was about $5,000 a month. And just for context, I do live in the Midwest in St. Louis. It is cheaper to live here, I will say that. Whatever your number, track your monthly budget and then use that to calculate your average cost of living. Some months might be higher, some might be lower, but like on average, how much do you need to survive, to pay your mortgage, pay your bills, put money in savings, health insurance, all these things you need to take into account. But if you know that number is power to you. Once you know, it becomes more real. You're like, oh, $5,000. Okay, well, if one client is paying me $2,000 a month, you calculate, okay, I just need 2 more clients to easily hit that $5,000 a month with some change. So track your budget, and then the next thing you want to do is make sure that you have enough in savings, that you are not going to worry, and that number is going to be different for everybody. I think I had a year's worth of savings. And I think one thing that I wasn't necessarily thinking of at the time, but obviously came to light later, was make sure that you're accounting for your investments and also insurance. So make sure that as part of your cost of living, before you were probably paying insurance through your W-2 job. So now just make sure that you are accounting for the insurance cost. And I highly recommend talking to an insurance broker and having them write up a quote for you. You can get that quote at any time. So just go through that process, get that quote from them, and then you will feel comfortable because you'll know, okay, it's this much money for insurance if I am a freelancer full time and I'm not getting insurance through my W-2 job or my spouse or whatever. Okay, my 3 keys to success as a freelancer are going to be consistency, resilience, and speed. Can't wait to talk about this last one. So consistency, month over month, I was showing up. People do not want to be ghosted. You will lose all credibility. It will hurt your Upwork profile. It will just ruin your whole chances of becoming a full-time freelancer. So no matter what, be consistent. Even if you start small, only have one client, be very consistent with that client. That will pay off in the end. Resilience. When things get hard, keep going. They will get hard. There will be something you don't know, something that you haven't learned yet, and you can learn it. You just have to keep going. You will figure it out. This is probably the biggest thing personally, is speed. So when you are submitting proposals or replying to clients on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, reply as quickly as you can. Set up a meeting as quickly as you can. This is going to be key because from the client perspective, they don't want to have to interview a ton of people. They want to just find that person and like move on with their lives, right? So if you can be the first person that they talk to or that they see and you make a good impression, you're probably going to get that job. It's going to increase your chances of getting that job and working with that client. So make sure that you're responding as quickly as possible. This is the 21st century, right? People expect quick results. This is the world of Amazon and McDonald's, fast food, fast everything, fast service, fast results. Okay, so here's my advice to aspiring freelancers. First, figure out what you're going to do. And I know that is really oversimplified, but go check out my latest video on the secret niche, all about what I am doing as a freelancer, and I think this is a really good opportunity for new freelancers. So learn that skill, whether it's through YouTube tutorials or taking a course, whatever it is, learn that skill and lean into it. And then you're going to want to market your skills. So make sure that you're marketing yourself on these freelance platforms like Upwork, Fiverr. There's a ton. Even LinkedIn is a great resource. So make sure that you have a profile and that you're standing out. And I have a free guide on how to stand out on Upwork that I definitely would check out. And then you will start making money. But again, when you first start out as a freelancer, focus on quality, not quantity. Do not burn out. If you want your freelance journey to go faster and you want to go through all these steps as quickly as you can, I highly recommend finding a mentor or joining a community. I did start a community of freelancers called the Freelance Tech Collective, and this is a group where we have exclusive webinars, networking events, and just a support and discussion group so that if you are running into problems or you don't know, you have questions, that is your resource to ask those questions and get answers and just learn from other people and have that support that you need. Again, I wish I would have had that. I would have gotten through this so much faster. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more about freelancing or more about Smartsheet. If you want to learn more about this whole niche, I definitely recommend checking out my 6-figure freelance video where I talk about this secret niche that I feel like nobody really knows about, and it's a great opportunity. Thank you all for being here. If you have any freelance topics or Smartsheet topics that you are interested in, please comment down below. I would love to make more videos for you and really help you on your journey in your freelance career.